Last week's episode of Dragon Ball Daima made history with the introduction of Super Saiyan 4 finally becoming canon in the main Dragon Ball timeline. After transforming into a Super Saiyan 3 and getting slapped up by Goma, Neva actually stepped in and did something unbelievable to help the Z Fighters. With the help of his magic, Neva would give Goku a special power-up that seems to have literally forced a mutation within his Saiyan DNA that causes him to grow more muscular, sprout this red fur all over his body, and actually regrow his tail. This new form has been coined by the community the new Super Saiyan 4, bearing an extremely striking resemblance to the original one we remember from Dragon Ball GT, with a few key differences. If you guys want to see an entire breakdown and explanation of this new form and exactly how it happened for Goku, I'll have it linked at the top of the screen right now and below in the comments. But in typical Dragon Ball fashion, even with this new power, Goma has been on an absolute tear since he merged with the third eye and comes back even stronger after a short engagement with Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and using his own magic is able to subdue Goku and not only strip him of his Super Saiyan 4 power, but forces him all the way back down to base. Now that even Super Saiyan 4 Goku has failed, the only hope the Z Fighters have left is to use the Dragon Balls that they and Arinsu have gathered. But this is when they notice that Porunga has already been summoned by someone. On the other side of the battlefield, Glorio summons the dragon and has a decision to make now. Does he follow Arinsu's orders and make her the Supreme Demon King so she can defeat Goma herself? Or does he decide to help out Goku and the others, which is what we're about to find out here today. We're almost at the conclusion of Daima, guys, and things are wrapping up quickly, so if you guys are excited to see just how this thing finally ends and if we'll see Goku and the others use these forms in their regular bodies, subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you never miss a Dragon Ball upload as soon as they go live, and consider leaving a like on the video as well to help us out a little bit in the algorithm. But without further ado, fellas, let's see exactly what Glorio has decided. When the episode begins, Arinsu is clearly under the impression that Glorio is still following her orders as she prepares herself to be bestowed the power of the Supreme Demon King. All of a sudden though, a magical aura begins to surround Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and all of the others who had been turned into children all those episodes ago. This is when they all start to grow larger finally again, as even Goma looks on slightly amazed. It's clear that they're returning to their regular adult bodies thanks to the help of Glorio's wish. As everyone turns back to normal, Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and even Shin can be seen looking extremely grateful, and I can't blame them. And we can't forget about Dende as well, who is being turned back to normal as he goes from a baby to a full-grown teenager slash grown man. I don't know how old Dende was at this point, in Pansy's arms. And of course, we can't forget about Bulma either. Goku thanks Glorio for turning them back to normal as Arinsu seems frozen in disbelief. She was so close to exacting her plan, but was foiled at the last second by someone she thought was an ally to her. As Porunga says farewell, the Dragon Balls hover back into the air and eventually disperse, with everyone joining back on the battlefield for the final confrontation with Goma. Vegeta warns him not to underestimate them now that they're back to normal, and he could very well be right, but with that being said, Goku suggests that they fight one at a time again now that things are back to normal. Vegeta agrees, but if that's the case, then it's clearly his turn again since Goku has gotten his way quite a few times at this point. Of course, he's not too happy about it, but fair is fair, so Vegeta flies towards Goma and the final battle would officially begin now. Without transforming at all at first, Vegeta engages with the giant version of Goma, who actually does take a bit of damage from him before he even transforms into a Super Saiyan, but his power is still far too great to be defeated so easily. Back on the ground, Arinsu finally addresses Glorio, saying she sees how it is. He apologizes, but she doesn't hesitate to remind him of her kindness when she saved him from the third demon world, and while he replies that he is grateful, it's clear that this situation weighed on his heart more than whatever her demands were, so she fires him. Back in the sky where Vegeta and Goma are doing battle, Vegeta is finally getting back used to his normal body again as he dodges blast after blast. When he finally transforms into a Super Saiyan, he knocks Goma away, and as he closes the distance, We finally get to see Vegeta transform into a Super Saiyan 3 in his adult body now. I gotta say, this is hands down the second coolest transformation animation sequence in the show so far, and they didn't even have to go that crazy. As we all saw last week, they went nuts with Goku's first Super Saiyan 4 transformation with the anatomy and focusing on the DNA and everything like that. So for this one to be so simple, it was absolutely epic. I gotta give them a round of applause for doing Vegeta justice right here. It's also worth pointing out that this is the first time that the others officially addressed this form as Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, as well as Shin calls it out. Now all we really need them to do is officially name Goku's form as Super Saiyan 4. For the first time in this battle, Goma looks a little bit worried, and he should be, because Vegeta's power has just multiplied exponentially and the speed to match, as he lands a crushing blow to Goma's gut that looks like it almost impales him. At this point, Vegeta is just torturing this guy, bouncing him all over the battlefield with strikes, but I love how he's back to fighting with his arms crossed like Vegito. I was really hoping that we get to see this fighting style again after he got turned back into an adult. Back on the ground with the other Z fighters, Glorio finally makes his way back over to them, clearly overwhelmed with emotions over what he's just done, but the faces and gratitude of Goku, Pansy, and the others proves to him that following his heart led him to make the right decision after all, and they couldn't be more grateful to him. Well, if you were wondering, Vegeta is still putting an absolute beat down on Goma. Even though the third eye seems to almost keep healing him to some extent, it doesn't look like he's losing any stamina whatsoever. But at first glance, I gotta admit, it almost begins to look like Goku might not even be needed to help finish this with the way Vegeta is fighting, as he fires a final flash at Goma, who just gets sent crashing through the bottom of the battlefield, but Goma clashes with a beam of his own. Unfortunately for him, this ain't Kid Vegeta no more, and Vegeta is able to overwhelm Goma in his Super Saiyan 3 form with this final flash that leaves a massive gaping hole pause in the entire battlefield. But if you look closely, it also seems like Vegeta uses so much power for this last attack that he's nearing exhaustion himself as well, and we know how draining Super Saiyan 3 is. Moments later, up in the sky, Goma begins descending from the swirling clouds, as it seems like he was able to create another barrier thanks to the magic of the third eye in order to keep himself safe. All of a sudden, however, as Vegeta is watching him in the sky, he instantly appears behind him and tells Vegeta that no matter how many times he's able to hit him, it simply won't work. Vegeta turns around and is immediately met with a giant punch. The two start clashing in hand-to-hand combat, but with the way Vegeta is huffing and puffing, we and even Goku can see that he's getting exhausted, as he mentions that this is getting bad. Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 form won't last much longer, while Goma, he isn't showing any sign of exhaustion at all. Just what's going on here? Piccolo, with his keen eye and deduction skills, mentions that it seems to be an effect of the third eye, and even though they've been restored, they still retain whatever damage they took. This might not be the time to obsess over fighting, he goes on. This is when Rinsu brings up a very interesting detail though, as she mentions to Majin Ku that now that she thinks about it, Supreme Demon King Abura used to attach and remove the third eye at will. All of a sudden, an idea seems to have spawned in her head, so she orders Majin Ku to bring her the book of magic items from archive number 37, so he leaves back to the palace immediately. Vegeta is still desperately trying to chip away at Goma to some capacity, and while it's clear that his attacks hurt him, they're not doing any lasting damage thanks to the third eye and doing nothing but leaving him more and more exhausted as this fight drags on. With a single punch, Goma is able to send Vegeta flying back towards the surface of the battlefield, and this, along with all of the energy he's managed to burn, finally forces him to fall out of Super Saiyan 3 and back to base form, as Goku asks if maybe he can get a turn now. Of course, Vegeta tells him to back off and goes back to continue his battle with Goma, but Piccolo tells Goku that if Goma isn't losing any stamina, then no matter how much or how hard they're able to hit him, Goku joining in probably won't make a difference anyway. Luckily, it's at this moment that Majin Ku returns with the book that Rinsu requested. They flip through the hundreds, possibly thousands of pages as quickly as possible until finally, they come across the section they were looking for. She flies back over to meet the Z Fighters and tells them all to listen very closely to what she has to say. She tells them the secret to Goma's Tertian Oculus, or third eye if you guys prefer that name, is that it can be removed if they're able to hit him in the back of the head 3 times in a row. They thank her, but she warns them not to get the wrong idea. She just wants Goma defeated. But this poses another problem. If Goma realizes what they're up to, there's no way he'll even allow them to get behind him in the first place, much less hit him in the back of the head 3 times in a row. Goku even mentions that he himself doesn't have much stamina left either, but he should at least have more than Vegeta still at this point. "I'll fight. You find an opening and hit him in the back of the head," Goku tells Piccolo. However, there is still one more little stupid issue that they have to think about, as Shin brings up Vegeta would probably rather die than let Goku interfere in this battle. Well, this is where Bulma steps in to work her magic. At first, she orders Vegeta to stop acting foolish and let everyone else fight too, but when he refuses, this is when his priorities truly get tested. She tells him that if he doesn't stop acting stupid right now, then she'll never take a bath with him again, and I'm not gonna lie, this might be top 2 funniest moments in Dragon Ball history. It's like time stopped for Vegeta and he realized what's truly important in life. He instantly appears back on the ground with the rest of the squad like he never even broke a sweat and says, "Very well, I'll let you take over." Nah, bro, I am floored. This nigga really peeled out of that fight and got back on that ground in 0.2 seconds like nothing ever happened. You literally gotta respect Vegeta at this point. Goma, he's just here for Dragon Ball Daima. Bulma is forever. This is when Goku joins the fight, approaching Goma in the air. However, he knows that time isn't on his side here, so he and Piccolo have to end this quickly. They probably have one shot at this, so no mistakes, and he needs to go all out from the start. Just like how he did against Majin Buu, Goku would go through all of the stages of Super Saiyan, showing Goma everything from 1 to 2 and eventually 3, just as Vegeta had. But this isn't it. He's not stopping here. Goku continues powering up to the shock of everyone, as even after only harnessing this power a single time thanks to Neva's magic, Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan 4 once again. I guess in the canon, Goku's clothes don't just magically change because he rips off his shirt and gi himself here, unlike in Dragon Ball GT. Goma looks absolutely stunned as Goku's power reverberates all across the demon realm as adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku is finally born. And this is gonna be where Dragon Ball Daima episode 19 is finally gonna come to a close, with Super Saiyan 4 adult Goku and Demon King Goma finally about to clash in the finale of the series. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I said last week was my favorite episode, and it still probably is, but this week is a close second, if not just directly tied with it. The scene with Glorio confronting the Z Fighters was pretty emotional, everyone getting turned back into adults, and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku's transformations were just absolutely incredible, and I cannot overlook the scene with Bulma and Vegeta. That had to be like top 2 funniest moments in Dragon Ball history. Not much can really beat that initial surprise debut and feeling we got from Super Saiyan 4 Goku last week. It's hard to stack these two against each other, but I love the way Daima is progressing in these last few episodes. More importantly, we finally have a plan to beat Goma, and while there are still so many questions left to be answered, even if they aren't all answered next week, the future of Dragon Ball will almost certainly circle back to all of this lore at some point. Anyways, I gotta know, fellas, let me know down below in the comments how you all feel about episode 19 of Dragon Ball Daima. And of course, more importantly, adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I cannot stress how excited I am for these characters to come to games like Sparking Zero, Dokkan, and Legends. These next couple of Daima DLC packs for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero are gonna be unbelievable. Adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, as of right now, it's kind of hard to gauge or say, but I'm sure in next week's episode we'll get a much better idea of what Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku's moveset will look like in some of these games, and I can barely contain myself waiting for this, bro. But anyways, fellas, have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.